The company is called Euroclear, and it's as a child company, I would say sister company of JP Morgan. So I'm into the IT, where I manage all the core applications of our company, where all the hedge fund people and the multimillionaires come in to put their stocks and the trades and the government bonds stuff, and their settlements is done. So I'm into DevOps, where we have to check the automation of the applications, the application deployments, and the load balancing and stuff like that. So we have to maintain the high availability of those applications. They're not normal professors where they just teach in the school. They're more who work in the real world, the companies, and they get this real world scenarios into our curriculum and make us understand how you're gonna get into the real world experience once you are graduated. So that's where KTU professors come in, where they really teach us from the the third year, where they get us cope up with these activities where you're gonna do so and so things in the real world companies. There were two things. One was the compulsory internship which I had to do, and then the thesis itself. So it was split into 3 and 3 months. I luckily got placed in Czech Republic, the company called Kendrick. Yeah, okay. So I did my internship there, and then parallelly I was working on my thesis as well. The way they explained what is the curriculum, how it is going to happen, and the fee structure, everything from A to Z, it was crystal clear. There was no, I would say, hidden things that could potentially tamper my abroad education. Everything was clear and transparent. And if there were any questions, they were always available to answer, and that was the attention grabbing thing, I would say, where we're like, okay, this is the consultants we would like to get. It's a 5-day work culture, and we also in Brussels we have something called 4-day work culture also. So you can finish your 5 days within 4 days, and you can take your Friday as your weekend. It's 7 hours of working, not 8 hours. So that's a plus point. So that's really a good boundaries set in this kind of companies, where they really respect your time. And no stress on the weekends. Of course, we do some launch on the production servers, but it's planned and we're paid for that. So it's more or less a very good work-life balancing I'm into.
Hello everybody, welcome all of you. My name is Shivaraman, Director of Europe Study Center. So this is going to be our 92nd episode of interviewing all our successful students. Today we have our student Rakesh, who went to Europe for his bachelor's and currently working in Brussels. So we're going to discuss about his successful life journey. So Rakesh, welcome to the show, Rakesh.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited for the interview.
Thank you so much. And to spend time, and as you know, these interviews are not from the marketing perspective. These interviews are completely from an awareness perspective for the young minds especially. So before we discuss about your journey, please introduce Rakesh yourself to our audience, please.
Yeah, so I'll keep it short. Myself, Rakesh Nalgunda. I'm from the southern part of India, from Andhra Pradesh, but settled in Bangalore for quite some time, I would say from 2014. Okay. I did my schooling in Narayana from 8th standard, and then my PUC also from Narayana itself. And then I did my bachelor's from Lithuania. The university is called Kaunas University of Technology. I did a bachelor's in information technology.
Okay.
Yeah. And now currently working in Belgium. It's a fintech company, and I'm a DevOps engineer currently and automating the application deployments via Azure.
Excellent. So if you could look back at your journey, when was it more or less decided you are planning to do your bachelor's abroad? When was that moment kicking in?
Honestly, it's my dad's plan. Of course, I did not have that much of maturity when I was in 12th grade to do what next. So thanks to my dad, I would say. As typical parents, they would see what next for my son or daughter. And that's where my dad's colleague came into the picture, where he was telling my dad that he was sending his son for master's in Canada. And my dad had a thought of why couldn't I send my son for bachelor's itself? And that's where we started digging in our research. More on my dad's side, I was like nodding my head, yeah, that's good. But it was more like on my dad's. thanks for his research and his ideas.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was about to say, because it was like almost kind of an out of the box idea, to
Yeah.
plan at the UG level itself. And even though in a humble way, you said you had no clue what's happening, but still,
Yeah.
you lived up to your dad's expectation and finishing up a degree of informatics level at KTU. Trust me, it's not that, easy,
Yeah, it was challenging. Yeah. Yeah.
which we are going to discuss basically. Then how did you find Europe Study Center? You or your parents?
Yes, again, as I said, dad's research. So we did go to multiple consultancies before coming to Europe Study Center. I'm in a bit of them, 5 to 6, I would say.
Okay.
And we did not have that kind of attention grabbing from the consultancies, I would say. And that's where Europe Studies Center came in, thanks to Sujita ma'am from the Bangalore branch.
Okay.
So as soon as we stepped in, we were welcomed really well, and the way they explained what is the curriculum, how is it going to happen, and the fee structure, everything from A to Z, it was crystal clear. There was no I would say hidden things that could potentially tamper my abroad education. Everything was clear and transparent, and if there were any questions, they were always available to answer. And that was the attention grabbing thing, I would say, where we're like, okay, this is the consultants we would like to get through.
Okay, wonderful. Very crisp and clear answer. And also, once you decided, you're going to pursue with Europe Study Center's options, you straight away save at least 1 crore of rupees compared to other countries, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
See, brother, if you look at it right now, in the current geopolitical situation, can anyone predict what is going to happen tomorrow? We cannot.
No.
So, to spend crores of rupees or several lakhs into education, which I feel it's completely unwanted. That's why we don't promote all this UK, US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. We stick to this European public universities. So when you were applying to Europe for your bachelor's, you're parallelly looking at Indian options also, or only abroad when applications?
I think the timelines did match really well. By the time I could look for Indian universities, I got the offer, a conditional offer letter from KTU. So I should not say this, but I did not take the exams that serious in India. For example, KSET or the IIT or NIT, because I was more foreseeing to get into abroad university, and I did not prepare well for Indian exams. Yeah.
Or you were not looking up to it in a very...
I was not looking up to, yeah, because my focus was I wanted to go to
already into KTU, basically.
Yeah.
Super. And then, audience, to put it short, yes, he did have a Skype interview. He got selected. Then he cleared his visa. Because people nowadays, Rakesh, what they think is, if they contact Europe Study Center, their admission and visa is done. People fail to understand we are just a facilitator. We are like, how to say, we collect the documents from here, and when something is missing, we request you guys to add it. And once you finish the interviews well, your visa as well as your offer letter interview, then only we reach that particular university, which I wanted to share in a very short notice, basically. So then, right from the school background, it's all like a, preset atmosphere. You know, like what's going to come step by step. So once you landed in KTU, in Lithuania, so how was your first semester? Because new environment, new people, new type of education, all these things. So how did it go, the first semester?
Honestly, if I look back from this perspective, it was a fun ride. But at that point of time, it was a big roller coaster, I would say, because the switch of academics was huge. When I say huge, it's the teachers. They in India, I was more pampered kid. The teachers used to come and give me attention. This important question, stuff like that. Whereas in the abroad culture, you have nowhere to be seen in this kind of scenarios. So I was not having enough attention from the teachers. So that was a big, I would say, jump for me. And the PDF format, it's more soft copies. You don't have text copies as such. And I had to go through this kind of shift, and it took some time for me. So the first 6 months was really hard. And frankly to speak, I did fail 4 subjects out of 6. Yeah, so I was really, really nervous. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make it or something like that. So, but eventually I did. So we'll go there.
Yeah. So there's always a say, there is no career without an arrear. And we only see this as like blockages, which will, slight stoppage in the play, like, then it takes us forward from there. So how did you keep yourself, how to say, motivated when you were going through a very tough time in your first semester?
Yeah. Once I did my exam, I remember that day I did my exam, and the very next day I got the result and I failed, and I saw that results in the night, and I was crying on my bed, and like, because I never failed back till my 12th standard, and
I
that's the first
understand.
time where I multiple subjects, and the subject which I liked, computer science, I failed in oops concepts, which I really knew about, not like professional, but I knew about, not like I would fail, but I definitely could have passed. So I was really crying, and then I thought to give up, and I would call my dad, and he was like, being a father, he was like, he didn't want to see me in that sad phase. He was like, come back to India, we will do something, and we'll get you to a new college. But then on the hindsight, I was thinking my dad spent a lot of money and it was a struggle. I did come here, and I was like, I should not go back now. Whatever is it, I have to get the degree, I have to hustle, I have to get this thing done, and I have to get the degree in hands. And that's how I cope up myself. And I started studying thanks to one of my friend also in Lithuania, where she helped me to get to understand how this structure works and how to help me cope up on the educational level for the first semester.
Wonderful. I would like to say this, to have this level of motivation at the PG level is fine, nothing exceptional.
Yeah.
But at the age of 17, 18, to make
Yeah.
up your mind like this, and KTU is still a top 400, 500th ranked university in the world. Okay. At par with our, IITs in India, the rankings, more or less here and there. So to make up your mind at the age of 18, brother, and to cross all these and looking up to what you are doing currently, I think that was the spark, I guess.
Exactly. Indeed, that was
there.
the spark. Never give up attitude. That's where it kicked in. Like, okay, whatever it is, I have to hustle. I have to get the degree, and I have to make my parents proud.
No looking back. Once taken decision.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to say the small failure that you had at the beginning, because this is why we do these interviews. People,
exactly,
watching these interviews, when they flunk in some papers, especially in the first semester, they will immediately think, yes, Rakesh Anna clearly told in that video, it will be like this.
Yeah.
We have to be strong, because their decision-making process becomes much easier now, because
exactly,
you have done all these things, and that's the whole objective of doing these interviews. And this is the 90-second interview,
yeah,
in this series, basically. So then, for me to understand further, I know that what all changes you would have done, in becoming as I also studied there. But I want you to tell the audience what all you changed, especially during your second semester, which brought you back on track.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, because a lot of people struggle in that phase to get the change in the mindset. So on my side, I had a hope that I'll have some kind of pressure or some kind of, how you say, attention from the teachers, or I can easily get past through important questions, because that's when we all had till 12th standard. And I quit that hope. Okay, whatever it is, you're independent. You have to be independent. No one is going to help you. You're born alone, and you're going to die alone. So I was like, you have to be independent. Whatever it is, no one is going to help you. Okay, you have some stepping stones where people come into picture and they help you to get to the next stone. Yeah, exactly, passing clouds. So that was the biggest impact, where I would say that it did hit me a lot, where I said I have to be independent. And from there on, I did study this PDF that I was used to receive. And sometimes it was difficult to, at least on my side, it was difficult to read the soft copy, so I used to print it out and read in the textbooks, stuff like that. So I would say the major impact was being independent.
By the way, one more time to our audience, so what did you study in your bachelor's?
Yeah, so it was information technology, more or less to say it's computer science.
Computer science, yeah. In Europe, they call it as informatics, because even the top public universities in India, the vice chancellors, they themselves say, study in India, I mean, IT or computer science in your bachelor's. Don't directly jump into artificial intelligence or data science or machine learning at UG level. Then it becomes very
Exactly.
narrow. So,
Yeah.
it's all the more ideal to choose informatics at the UG level. So by the end of second semester, you were like slowly getting to the grip of it. How was it?
Yeah. I was getting the hands-on experience of, okay, how is this curriculum working, and how should I get into this zone and to not fail again. So I did hustle a lot, and I understood the tactics of how to read, and how to get into this curriculum, to fit into this curriculum. And
Exactly.
good that I did fit in quite quickly.
Super. That's what the European professors also say, Rakesh. Indian students, we don't want to say they are super brilliant, they are these, that, and all those things. But once they decide these guys are smart enough, somehow they manage to complete the task. That's what majority of the
Indeed.
professors they say about. So if you could just slightly recollect, by the end of
Mhm.
first year, I mean the second semester, out of 60 credits, how much you had approximately? If you could remember. I know it's long
Uh,
back,
yeah, yeah,
roughly,
yeah, yeah.
roughly.
I did fail one subject in the second semester, but rest of the credits I did achieve them, and I did the how do you say,
First semester.
the re-exam for that subject in the third semester. So I did pass.
Okay.
But it's good. You see, where I failed subjects in the first semester, and then I failed only one subject in the second. So that was a good improvement, at least for my side.
What do you mean by good improvement? It was an amazing improvement. See, people watching this, for the first time, or who doesn't know about European education, the intensity and the standards, for them, it could be a different way. But as a person who does this for 17 years, and especially bachelor's informatics in a European public university, out of the world experience, trust me. Super. So then I guess by the end of second semester, you're almost on track. And by end of third
Yeah,
semester, I think you are perfectly synchronized with the system, and you have become super confident, and you are
yeah,
destined to finish the degree on time. Am I right? This is that is
indeed, indeed,
Mm,
yes, that's right.
excellent. A student, for them to, they will have some interest in that subject. For
Mhm.
example, let's talk about back home in India. He or she has an interest in biotechnology or aeronautical or civil engineering. But
Mhm.
by end of the studies, they hate these subjects, majority of the students. It is only majorly because of how well they have been taught by, the professors.
Mhm.
What role they played in motivating these young minds to have interest and develop knowledge. So
Yes,
professors play a very, very, very key role. Okay.
yes.
So tell us, the impact of professors in your life when it comes to bachelors at KTU.
Yeah, so hands down, I would say the professors were really knowledgeable.
Yes.
I was really knowledgeable, and they're not normal professors where they just teach in the school. They're more who work in the real world, the companies, and they get this real world scenarios into our curriculum and make us understand how you're gonna get into the real world experience once you are graduated, because I know that it's totally different where you study something and when you get into the real world, it's totally different. So that's where KTU professors come in, where they really teach us from the the third year, where they get us cope up with these activities where you're gonna do so and so things in the real world companies. Yeah, so they had very good knowledge on this, I would say.
Yes, and I would strongly say, a lot of people, they ask me, why are you promoting Europe? Because it's cost effective, these countries are developed and all those things. But I say, okay, these are all could be a small factors, but the fundamental factors is professors.
Absolutely, absolutely. To say, I have a story also here, because a lot of people don't know what is Lithuania, because it's a small country. In Belgium, when I came here, a lot of my colleagues from the office asked, "Why did you choose this country?" So, of course, the biggest factor was the cost-friendly country, and I said that I don't know about other countries, but where I studied, and the professors were really they had good knowledge, and that really made me good at what I'm doing right now. So, and I did recommend a lot of people offline. I get some lot of calls through maybe Sujita ma'am also, and some of my friends, where they call me to have some guidance. So I tell them, okay, so and so things, but I always suggest them KTU because I'm from there, so I don't know about the other universities. The
Exactly.
university which I studied from was 10 on 10, so I recommend that.
Perfect. And I will never promote a mediocre university. Never.
Yeah.
In my lifetime. I want to promote especially when it comes to technical programs. Grandeur. The university should run 30, 40 programs in bachelor's and master's, bare minimum, different faculties, intense research activities. That is how it makes. And just for you may know still, to study in KTU, it's cost effective compared to studying in Chennai or Bangalore nowadays.
Absolutely. Until unless you get some case at a very the good rank, okay, but else it's the same. I'm not in same. You end up spending more money in India.
Exactly. And I always say, see, I'm not telling about India, Europe, and all those things. And I've been telling nowadays to people for them to clearly understand what is the type of your institution, commercial or non-commercial. If the institution is commercial institution, where only focus is to take money from you for all the expenses, quality education becomes a joke. But whereas when you study in institutions where they run the institutions to give you the knowledge, the wisdom, the courage. For example, our country's IIT or the university where you studied your bachelor's, they belong to the non-commercial segment. And what happened recently? So what we tell people is study in non-commercial institutions. So what happened nowadays, Rakesh, which I should tell you, this US visas and all getting refused left, right, and center. And this Australia, New Zealand visas are also 50-50 nowadays. Okay. Canada diplomatic situation in a different zone right now. So suddenly I see many agents started to promote Europe. I was actually happy. Wow. Everybody promoting, my countries, meaning what I've been promoting. Hungary, Czech Republic. Then finally I understood they promote the super inferior universities or private colleges in these countries again. The same scenario like US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. They don't promote the premier ones.
That's not good. Yeah.
And they blame Lithuania for end of the day, which is wrong. You study in the wrong institutions. How can you blame the country?
Absolutely.
No. Yes.
Super. No sense.
Yes. So what sort of assessments do they have on the learnings that you have? For example, how do they conduct the examinations? What sort of examinations?
Yeah, that's a good question again, because this is something that a lot of people would have a question on. So there are a lot of unit tests as we have in India as well. And there are a lot of midterms. There's one midterm and then one final, and in between you have a lot of unit tests to get through your midterm and then the final. So your unit tests are important to get through your midterm. So if you don't appear for your unit tests, you're not eligible to get sit in the midterm exams, and the same for the final. So all this process till the final, you have the laboratory exams. You have so I'm talking about IT. So you have a lot of questions where you will be given and you need to code them to get the outputs. And there are some unit tests where you have the output itself, and then you have to write the answer. So the logical thinking kicks in this kind of exams where you need to really focus on the outputs and on the coding level, I would say. So the outcome is really well with this exam, the exam activities.
Exactly. An audience, in a single line, if you wanted me to summarize what Rakesh said, you cannot memorize or mug up and clear the examination. That is what
that is something I would say as well. Yeah.
Literal one-liner. Once you understand and study, you cannot finish the degree without skill set. And this skill set will only take you to an employment. That is what is the ground reality. So then during your study time, we cannot just keep studying all the time, right? So how do you refresh your mind? Were you involved in some sports, leisure activities, trekking, etc., something like that?
Unfortunately, no, because I was mostly involved in doing part-time. So this is something I really missed on being the social person. I wanted to do that, but unfortunately, I was more inclined to earning money and handling my own expenses.
And also balancing your studies. That is important.
Yes, also balancing my absolutely, yeah. So I did some fun activities, but I would say maybe twice or thrice in all the 4 years. So I really did not have much of social activities, and I really regret that.
But now you have all the time, after your
Yes,
work,
yes.
you're free to do, and you're
Agree.
still relatively very young, and you're still free to do, now
Exactly.
these brother, these small sacrifices at a very young age, once you do that,
Yeah.
it really takes you to a greater
Yeah,
place.
that's true. I regret it, but I'm on the hindsight, I'm happy too, because as you said, you need to sacrifice some things to achieve something, right? So these are the
Exactly.
sacrifices made, and other people also do to get at some position. Yeah. So
Exactly.
that's a good takeaway from this, that you need to sacrifice some things. So, and as you said, I have the age and I have the time right now, so it's my time to explore the world.
Exactly, explore. That's what I was about to say. You took the word. And also, one more point I would like to tell audience. Rakesh worked really hard, balanced his part-time and still finished the degree on time and still got an employment. Okay. This is a super ideal case. When you're not able to balance your studies, when you feel that part-time is affecting your studies, please quit. Talk to your parents about financials, rework it, and finish the degree on time. That is most important. That is why, including Rakesh, we would have told everybody, please,
Yeah.
don't look into the part-time aspect of it, or at least, without affecting your studies, please see to it, because that's the prime fundamental objective. So which year you finished your bachelor's?
2022. It's been exactly a month now. I did, sorry, 4 years now.
4 years now.
Uh, yeah. It was 2022, June 24th. So
So 3 years basically.
almost, yeah.
Almost 1,000 days.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So then your final year project was within the university, or you did it in some company?
So there were two things. One was the compulsory internship, which I had to do, and then the thesis itself. So it was split into 3 and 3 months. So I had to do 3 months of internship. I luckily got placed in Czech Republic, the company called
Wow.
Kendrill. Yeah,
Okay.
so I did my internship there, and then parallelly I was working on my thesis as well. Unfortunately, I did not receive a full time there because it was a one-time project. So once the project is done, already it was said on the face on the very first day that it's not full time, but we could recommend you to the other teams. So once I did my internship, so there was website creation. I had to create some website for the system administrators, and they really liked it. I thought I'll get a full time, but yeah, there was another destiny written for me.
Yeah.
So I come back from there. I defended my thesis, and yeah.
For internship also, they have 15 credits, or master thesis is 30 credits?
It was 15. Yeah, 15 for thesis and 15 for internship.
Yeah,
If I
because
remember.
because in post graduation it's 30 credits. So in
Yeah,
bachelor's
yeah.
at you it's like.
Yes.
So once you got the degree, how did you feel? Right from failing in 3-4 papers and to get the degree within 4 years time.
Yeah.
What a transformation. When you got the degree, how did you feel?
I really felt good. I don't know if you still see the expression on my face. When I think about that, I really feel good. I don't know if you saw the movie Jersey, where the actor goes near the train station and then he really shouts aloud that he achieved something. I could relate to that because I was about to fail because my thesis was not that up to the mark. But I was about to. But thanks to the professors, where they understood the concepts which I did. It was the concept was really good, but they wanted some more complexity in the thesis. So there's something called public defense, and then the private, the university departmental defense. So you have to do the departmental defense first, and then you go to the public. So in the departmental defense, they said that no, there's some complexities missing, so maybe you cannot go. But I reconsidered to talk to these professors, and I showed them all the codes, and they did send me to the public defense. So I was almost on a verge to fail the thesis. So, and in the public defense, I did really well, and I got good marks. And when I received the certificate in my hand, that was a moment where I remember that day where I did said never give up. There was a day where I thought to go back to India, and I was like, never give up. Just imagine if I did give up and I went back to India. No.
That would be a, how to say, a slight
Yeah.
setback. We
Yes.
never give up, we keep doing it, somehow make it, and see,
Yes.
in life, in life, Rakesh, which you will completely accept. You are a working professional now. You are no longer a bachelor's kid,
Yeah.
Only those who take challenges, those who face challenges, those who mitigate the risk, and
Yeah,
work hard and plan well, only they enjoy the benefits. Without taking
exactly.
much risk, you also want to be one among the crowd. Don't expect a lot of benefits and rewards and accomplishments.
For sure. I 200% agree with this. Yeah.
You have to you have to differentiate yourself, and you have to kill out the external noise. Even you would have had it, right? Why are you
Yeah.
sending Rakesh at UG level itself? What is this Lithuania, Ludhiana, where it is? I don't know. Then I say, people, if you don't know, go and search where
Yeah.
it is. We go visit all these universities, we check everything, then only send the young minds. It's so
Yeah.
easy, brother, for me to sit in my office, just to sit and promote UK study center, Ireland study center, so easy process. But benefit for the students, almost zero.
Yeah.
That is why, we are able
Absolutely.
to document 92. This is the 92nd episode. Another 8
Mm,
more for the 100th
100
episode.
century.
Yes, yeah, it's all lined up, one by one. We'll
Okay.
be
Yeah.
finishing it up. So then now got the degree, all done. Then when did this employment phase kick in? When did you start applying?
Yeah. So it was a bit tricky period when I graduated because that's when the Russia-Ukraine war started, and
Oh, okay.
Lithuania being right next to Ukraine,
Very
a lot.
close.
Yeah, our neighboring friend. So right after my graduation, all the Ukrainians started migrating to Lithuania, Poland, and all the Western countries. So when I tried to apply to the companies, I was rejected a lot. Of course, that's something we foresee. That's not a big shock. But when I got into the interviews and when I really did well, there were some big tech giants. I don't want to take the name, but there were big tech giants where I got my internship also. And then they said, okay, we'll release the offer letter right next week. And 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I wait. And then when I send a message, no response, I just chase them. And eventually I get to know some things like, the client backed off, or the position is taken off. But we know on the hindsight, maybe the Ukrainians have got no offense, but yeah, it is what it is. You
What
have
it
to
is.
stand for your people first. So I tried my best to get a job in Lithuania. Unfortunately, I couldn't and in that period. So what I did is I started exploring the other countries as well: Czech
Yeah.
Republic, Slovakia, Switzerland, and Belgium, of course.
Just
So
to just to interrupt, brother. Don't you think the students and parents watching these interviews, it's a cue point where you just don't apply for the country where you studied alone. You should apply all over Schengen. Don't you think so, brother?
exactly. That's
Because
what I thought. Yeah,
this is the
yeah,
fourth time I am listening to such an incident. First they apply only to their
yeah.
country where they study. Then they open up to the entire Schengen. Yeah, please continue.
I mean, there's a reason behind, I think, because I'm not sure if I'm correct. Maybe you know about that. So 2 years of studies equal to 1 year for the PR, right? I'm not sure if I'm right. So
Correct,
because
correct.
I already did my 4 years, so which means to equals to 2 years of PR. So I was more foreseen to get a job in Lithuania because I had to stay only 3 more years to get my PR.
Exactly.
So that's why I was maybe all the students are forcing to get into that country. But yeah, unfortunately on my side, it did not happen, and I'm happy about it because again, it's a destiny. So
Destiny.
this country is really good. The company I'm working for is a really good. It's a big fintech company. So it's called Euroclear, and it's a settlement company. So we transfer millions and millions of dollars, euros every single day. So it's a very big company. I'm happy to be a part of it. So if I have to
Oh,
come back a bit to your question, how was the journey? It was a bit hectic. So thanks to a person on the LinkedIn from Euroclear, that they reached out to me, seeing my profile, they really liked it, and they said if you're comfortable, we could schedule an interview. And there were five rounds of interview, and I cracked them one by one, and the tech lead and the manager were really happy with my projects I did, the thesis for example, and the projects which I did personally on my level, and the communication skills which I had. Really liked it, and they gave me a green light. to join the
So
company.
this is in Belgium, right? Belgium.
Exactly. It's in Belgium.
These 5 rounds were virtual, or you traveled to Brussels, or
It was virtual. It was virtual.
Virtual.
Yeah.
Super. Amazing. So then, once you got the job, but
Mhm.
even before getting the job, you were always somewhere in the corner of your mind, you were confident, right? We have come so far, I will crack this also. Was it so?
Yes. So that's again with this, I remember the story that happened with me. So going back a bit back to the Czech Republic internship. So I did refer one of my friend. Okay, so we both did go do the internship together,
Okay.
and then I did not get the full time, whereas the
Okay.
person who I referred got the full time. Okay, and I was not jealous, honestly. I'm
Good,
being
happy. Yes, one
I
work
was,
done. Good, yeah.
and I was a bit sad that I did not get the full time position. So I came back. But as you said, I had the confidence. There was I don't know how I got that confidence. Like, man, I'm gonna do it. No matter what, I'm gonna do it. I was confident. No jealousy kicked in. No nervousness kicked in. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I started applying, and
Only
then
matter of time. Yeah.
we did it. It was only the matter of time. And there's a peer pressure also, because within 1 year you have to find the job, else you have to pack your bags and go back to your country. So thanks to the company which I'm working for. So they were really fast enough to do the process and stuff. So yes,
Exactly.
so these are some things, some of the stories. Yeah.
Super. Because this is what is also an important aspect of these student interviews, because some agents, I don't want to tell their names. They say if somebody got an employment, oh, you studied in UK and you are earning 80 lakhs now as a civil engineer, or you are earning 90 lakhs as a computer science engineer. I was like, why do you even talk about the salaries? You talk about the skill set, their journey, and all those things. That is what kids need. See, they deceive, with these sort of aspects, basically. So that is why, the way you documented your job hunt, and also I guessed it, somewhere at the back of the mind, Rakesh would know, like, never mind, it's just a matter of time. That's why I asked you this question, which you also said yes.
Yes, indeed.
So one more time, like, the name of your company and your current designation.
Yeah, so the company is called Euroclear, and it's as a child company, or I would say sister company of JP Morgan. So JP Morgan is more on the world level, and Euroclear is more into the European stocks and the bonds and the government stuff like that. So it's more into settlements. So I'll not go into technicals, but it's like a settlement company.
Got it.
In here, so we have two divisions. One is for the Euroclear Bank, so where people work on the client facing, and the one is on the IT. So I'm into the IT, where I manage all the core applications of our company, where all the hedge fund people and the multimillionaires come in to put their stocks and the trades and the government bonds, stuff like that. The settlements is done. So if we have high critical applications, so I'm one of the person where I'm managing all these critical applications, no downtime. So I'm into DevOps, where we have to check the automation of the applications, the application deployments, and the load balancing and stuff like that. So we have to maintain the high availability of those applications. So I'm being a key person of that domain.
I could understand. The job is also very sensitive. You have to be extremely.
Yes, it's related to the money, and we're not talking about 50, 100 euros. It's
I perfectly understand that. That's why I asked this.
It's trillions of euros. Yeah.
Exactly. And at an young age, to handle these sort of critical roles only makes you much stronger, bolder, and more confident, right? Down the line.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm learning a lot of things at this age. So it's not only about age; it's about the opportunities also. So thanks to the managers and the colleagues I'm working with here. So I'm learning a lot of their experience. I'm working with the people who are 55, 59 years old, being in the company for 30 years. There are people from 35 years. They graduated, they joined this company, and they're going to retire from this company. So I'm learning a lot of things from them. So it's a good journey as of now.
Exactly. And you picked up challenges right from the young age. So you're already on a fast track in your career, and that's why you're getting into all these things. So how many years into which city, by the way, you are in Belgium?
You're right, it's Brussels.
Yeah, all the financial, all aspects. happens in
the headquarters of my company is in Brussels as well.
Brussels as well. Yeah, these two cities, Brussels as well as Luxembourg, all finance related happens majorly in these two.
Exactly. You're right.
Brussels also, it's like kind of central in Europe, and it's kind of a capital city for entire Europe, I would say. Many associations, top, bodies, they.
And even NATO is here, so.
Yeah, that's what I said. All the top things for them, it's center, Brussels.
Yes.
Excellent. So then, tell us about your work-life balance.
Yeah, that's again a good question, because a lot of Indians would foresee the work-life balancing stuff from Europe, and they want it to be happening in India too. But
yeah, sorry to interrupt, because I ask this question in all my interviews, because I feel work-life balance is a right, not a choice.
Absolutely,
it's a right.
Yeah, it's a right.
We live, and to live, we need to work, but not work is everything.
Yes, I totally.
What happens with the Indian youngsters nowadays? When Monday comes, we dream of Friday, and when Friday comes, we fear of Monday. This is what is happening. No breaks, no nothing. Work, and towards what? That's why the stress levels are so high. The health aspect is going so low. That's why I wanted you to talk about work-life balance. And again, I would say all the key stakeholders, anybody watching this, work-life balance is not a choice. It is an employee's right.
Yeah, it's a right. It's totally a right. Yeah, I totally agree.
Please talk to us, enlighten about your work-life balance in your company.
Yeah, so of course it's a 5-day work culture, and we also in Brussels we have something called 4-day work culture also. So you can finish your 5 days within 4 days, and you can take your Friday as your weekend. Unfortunately, fortunately, I have no option as that, because I'm as I said, I play a key role, and I have to be available all the 5 days. But I'm happy about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's 7 hours of working, not 8 hours, so that's a plus point. And there is no calls, right? Once I'm logged out, there's no calls. If there's any issues, they come the next day. And even the status of the Teams meeting plays a key role. So if I'm kept into busy, nobody tries to ping me. Some people ping me and wait for my reply. Nobody calls. When I'm in D&D, no one even tries to message. So that's really a good boundaries set in this kind of companies, where they really respect your time, and no stress on the weekends. Of course, we do some launch on the production servers, but it's planned and we're paid for that. So it's more or less a very good work-life balancing I'm into. And there is the hierarchy. So the hierarchy is eliminated in this kind of companies, in this MNCs. So all the vice presidents, the CEOs, or the managers, they're all one. They don't show any, how do you say, the status symbol. Okay, I'm your manager, I'm vice president. People are very friendly. Well, the vice president himself comes to me or comes to someone and says, hey, how are you doing? How's it going? Are you liking them? So we have some parties ongoing with the company, within the company. So he himself comes and talks to the people. So that's really good. So the hierarchy is eliminated here. So you have no pressure of talking to the big people. You can talk to them. For example, I talk to the vice president of the company directly when I meet him, and taking some elements from him, how as a role model. And I ask, because he's a very good presenter, I would say. He really speaks well on the stage. So I take a key aspect from him, and I talk to him on how things has to be done, and what so and so on and so forth. So I would say the work-life balancing is really well, and the people are well respected for what they're doing.
Exactly. So, or in other words, what Rakesh says is, no hierarchy, no politics. You don't have to butter up anybody. You don't have to please anybody. All that you need to please is yourself.
Have you just
your work properly?
Yeah.
Exactly. Have you done your work, at least convincing yourself? Have you done your best? That's all that matters. That's it.
Yeah, but there's another thing also, because some days I work overtime just because I want to learn, and some of my colleagues see me available and they're like, What are you doing? Just go.
What?
Just go and go party. Why you're still active? Just go. And when I'm also in the lunchtime and I'm doing something, and people, some people from my team, they check me if they have some questions. They're like, "Had your lunch? Just go and come back. Take your time." So it's a very chill culture, I would say. People like, hold on, just hold on to your horses. Don't rush up. Don't take stress. Things can wait. No, so
If,
that's a good
if
thing.
if these two things, high quality professors, work-life balance comes in India, okay, why should I even send my kids abroad? Why should I send Rakesh abroad? Not required, right, Rakesh? We have excellent professors and all the companies by default follows the work-life balance. No problem. But currently, unfortunately, things are changing, of course, but at a very snail speed. But currently, as of now, it's only work-life imbalance, not work-life balance. Second aspect, as always, in the end of my interviews, I ask this question. European education always inbuilds a quality of like lifelong learning so that you're always at par and you're always on the top of your game. So please enlighten us about your lifelong learning process that you are adapting right now.
I mean, of course, again, being independent, that's the first thing I've learned in the university after failing my first semester, and I still stick to that. That is a key role, again, for me, which plays a crucial role in my life. You have to be independent. Nobody's your, I mean, you have friends, you have colleagues, and stuff like that. But again, and at the end, it's you who has to take the steps. It's you, it's your time, it's your decisions. You can take the suggestions, but again, implementation is from your side. You take the suggestions from all over the people, but again, don't depend on anyone. It's you who has to take the decision. It's you're going to walk towards your destiny.
Exactly. And also people whom you're taking suggestions, they should have walked the same rope and they should have been successful, or at least some information they should have relevancy. Plain informations and plain advice will not, how to say?
Exactly. Even people who call me, when I tell them when they ask about my journey, they really get impressed and they get how do you say, very excited. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, no, just take your time. It's
Relax.
not like if it worked for me, it's not gonna work for you as well. So man, just take some time, talk to other people, take other suggestions. But at the end, whoever it is, even Bill Gates comes down and talks to you. It's your path. You take the suggestions, but you have to follow your own path. You create your own path. No, but you can follow someone, but you'll have different kind of stepping stones in your journey.
You can only get inspired. Okay, I would also like to be like that, but your path is going to be completely different.
Yes, indeed.
Super. So work is fine, studies are done. In the future, any plans for masters?
Yes, I did. Last year, I was actually thinking about this. As of now, I'm learning a lot of things, as I said, from my company itself. So I don't want to juggle around with both work and masters. So I would like to learn more on my how do you say, on my professionalism, and then maybe in the future, down the line, 3 to 4 years, I'm definitely thinking to pursue my masters. Just I want to learn more. So it will
If
be
I
good.
was
Not for the degree, but just to learn.
Yeah, if I was you, I would have done the same. Because even when you talk about really, the positive education influences, you know what they say, brother? One degree in a top public university is enough.
It's enough, absolutely.
Enough. If I was you, I would have done the same. 3-4
Yes.
years, work nicely, maybe, try different things, maybe do an executive MBA somewhere down the line without quitting the job.
Yes, absolutely.
You've already gone through the grind. You don't have to go into it again. But those who have done bachelors in India, they have to go through this at the PG.
Yes.
That's why I asked this question. So I know that you could not travel much during your 4 years intense studies in KTU. After started to work, you have been traveling to different places in Europe?
I've been traveling, but not as much as I want to, because again, I'm spending more time on learning and upskilling myself. But now it's my time. So I do go to India also to meet my
Yeah,
parents. So
that is by
that's also
default. Yeah.
my trip. That's by default as well. So yes, in a year I plan 2 to 3 trips, at least 2 trips, and maximum 3 trips, where I give a minimum of 3 months of gap. So it's more like, I don't want to get stuck into that routine, where you wake up, you
Yeah,
fresh
we
up,
have to
and then
break the.
you log in. So you have to break that chain and get some, fresh air outside for 1 2 weeks, and then come back with the fresh mind, to work. Because I've seen this happening to me, where there were minute errors when I code, and it's right on my screen. I don't see that. I'm juggling around and thinking where could be there. I do all the deep investigation, but I see
Yes.
there's a missing comma there, and I take some break. I go out for a walk. I come back and I see, what the hell I
You're
just
normal. Yeah.
this in my
Yes,
hand.
yes.
So the break is really important. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I was about to say. Break is important.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And all across the interview, what I clearly noticed was like right from the age of your 17, 18, you are like,
Mhm.
compared to your normal peers, you are at least 30, 40%, to the next level, right from your
Mhm.
first semester. You already outthinked others, and you are like in a different mindset, which took you here with the current
Yeah.
designation at, you must be like 24, 25, and for you to handle such a complex positions, involving several millions of euros at this very young age, I guess your focus, your dedication, and starting early and taking challenging things took you here.
Yeah. That's
Wonderful,
true.
man. Wonderful. And I'm sure even if one student watches this interview, okay, and
Mhm.
plans for bachelor's itself into a challenging university like KTU or any university in Europe, I guess
Mhm.
the 1 hour you spent with us was, I'm sure you will be really happy. And somebody says in the future, I got inspired looking at Rakesh Anna's interview, and I'm doing this. I guess you're going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, that
super
would be
happy.
really great. Inspiring some people. That's a great thing actually. It's no joke. It's honestly like a big thing that you're inspiring people, and maybe you're making their career, in a good way. You're giving them the insights of what
Yes,
can be done. Because at the age of 16, 17, you're just clueless. You're blind. You don't. Everyone, your relatives, your parents, your teachers. You do this. You do that. You do this. You do that, and then you're lost. So you need some
exactly.
career guidance.
Exactly. And we keep things very simple. In this interview, we did not have a single sugar-coated advice.
Yeah.
We
Indeed.
always spoke about the challenging side and what is the rewards. Face the challenges. You don't even have
Yes.
to grab your rewards. The rewards will automatically come to you in whatever form it is.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I mean, the grinding is not easy. Honestly, there'll be days where you're lonely, where you'll cry. I mean, it's but grinding is grinding, But there's a fruitful thing waiting at the end of the road. So you definitely need to hustle. So don't give up, because I was at the verge of giving up and going back to India. Guys, please don't do that. Just give
Don't
your
do
best.
that. Yeah.
Just before, if you have a thought of giving up, go back to your bed. Just have a peace of mind and think that, did I give my 100%? If you say you did, no, so you have your answer. You didn't give your 100%, right? So you give your 100%. If you fail, you fail, but you have enjoyed what you're doing. You have lived the grind, but just don't give up.
Exactly. And way back in the year 2012, I guess, I asked this question to myself. Why am I only sending students for PG? What's the problem with UG? It started from
Yeah.
there. I asked this question to myself. Why? Why am I
Mhm.
not doing UG? Some
Mhm.
said Indian parents are very conservative and all those things. Still, there will be a handful of students, who wants to
Mhm.
go at the bachelor level itself. So I'm really glad, you know,
Yes,
uh, that hit me so that we could build all
exactly.
these, ecosystem and amazing. Super.
Yeah.
Before we sum up this beautiful journey of yours, any last point that you would like to tell the young minds watching these interviews?
I would say just keep going. Don't I would say don't get confused with what kind of curriculum you want to get into. Do what you love, and Europe Study Center is there for you if you want to come abroad. They're definitely as on my side. As I said earlier, I did go through some consultancies, but Euroclear came into the picture where they cleared all the questions of mine, and they were really transparent
Thank you.
enough, I would say. And on the other hand, once you start your journey coming abroad for education, yes, part-time is something you can do. I would say it's not a big no. You can do, but please, as is on my side,
Balance.
I did not balance my education. I could have learned a lot more being in my second year. I did do a lot of part time. I used to work around 90 hours a week, more around, yeah, around. So every morning around 7, I used to start and end up working till 2 a.m. and then go back home, and the same routine. So it was not like the greed I had from the money. It was more like I wanted to not ask a single penny from my parents, because I was this naughty kid and asking everything from my parents. And when I started earning, that's when I understood the value of money and
Value
value
of
of the
money. Yeah.
parenting. So I would say, if you want to do part time, do, but please balance your studies. Don't go towards money. Don't run towards money. And if you're running towards money, there is a problem from the scratch itself, which means that your financial calculations were not set right. So you talk to your parents before you onboard to this journey. Okay, can I have this much of money so the fees can be paid? And you have to actually force your next 4 years or the next 2 years if you're
Yes.
masters. So you have to be really planned. On my side, I was planned. All everything was set right. My dad said he'll send me money and this and that. But I got inspired by one of my Gujarati friend in Kaunas, where he used to do part time and earn money for his survival. I took some things from there. Okay, maybe I can also do that. So eventually, so starting, I was like, okay, I will just do my survival, food and rent. But there was a month where I worked so much and I could pay my half of the fees. And that's where a kind of greed kicked in. Okay, maybe I can. But it was more selfishness of not involving my parents, not asking my parents to support them at least a bit. So that's the thing. So to conclude, I would say do part time if you want to, but please balance your studies.
Balance it. Balance it. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And you've been like crystal clear. Even if a 15, 16-year-old guy watches this interview, he clearly understands what is expected out of him and in what mindset he should be in, and how well he should be organized. And in the entire interview, I could feel it. You are very calm and composed. And I guess you would have put the same during your study time and as well as your current work life. Thank you so
Indeed.
much. Thank you so much, Rakesh, for all your time and support to Europe Study Center. We are always grateful to you. And as I told you in between the interview, even if one or two minds get inspired out of this interview, I am sure Rakesh is going to be really happy of spending this 1 hour time with us. Thank you so much, and best wishes to you. And we will catch up very soon when I visit Belgium very shortly.
For sure. Please keep in touch, and I'll be very happy to see you around.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. So I wish you a nice weekend then.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.